Justin, what did you think of this Marquette team? Came into the game shooting like 30% from three, worst in the league, and then made 11 three-pointers.
I don't know. It's part of the basketball. Sometimes different nights shots fall, sometimes they don't. But we can't worry about that. We had to make some adjustments on Thomas. Be in his shirt a little bit more. But other than that, they're a good team. Whenever you get opportunities to knock shots down and knock them down, that's just what they were doing. They was knocking tough shots down, some tough shots, and knocking just shots down, period. But, it's a part of the game.
Justin, these were the two top rebounding teams in the league, and you guys out-rebounded them almost 2-1. Can you talk about the emphasis on that coming in and what that means?
They got big bodies down low, and we knew coming in that, Matt and Isaiah can't just hold those two off by themselves. So we got to come down there and, help the bigs rebound. So it was just a team effort. We had to gang rebound, as Coach calls it, gang rebound, swarm around the ball and make sure they only get one shot, and that'll enable us to get out and run in transition.
Semaj, the last few games, your assists have been way up, and you really haven't needed to score. Was this just one of those nights where that was what was open for you, and that's just kind of how the game played out? Is it they needed you to score a little bit more?
Yeah, I really don't think they needed me to score a lot. I just took the open shot that they gave me. I made a couple tough ones, but I don't really think they needed me to score. Just that I was open and I shot it.
Semaj, can you talk about those three-pointers you made back-to-back that really gave you guys a huge boost?
Just having confidence. Once I made the first one, I felt like I could shoot it and hit it again, so it was just confidence.
What's given you confidence recently? It seems like you've been shooting more and more of those.
My teammates telling me to shoot it when I'm open. We practice it every day when we at practice. Shoot it. So when I'm open, they tell me to shoot.
You guys did a nice job of getting your pace, getting the ball down the floor. Can you just talk about what an important point that was for you tonight?
Like Semaj said, that's stuff we do in practice. We practice fast, and any opportunity we get to push the ball, we're going to push the ball, and it makes a difference for our team.
Justin, when you look at this game and know that they were leading the league in defense, and you guys were second, but to score this many points again, do you consider that kind of a feather in your guys' cap offensively?
We just doing what we've been doing, and that's like these two just said, that's what we practice every day. So by getting stops, that it makes the game easier, because that's when it's fun, when we get to transition to offense. And we're a very unselfish team, so the ball finds open people, and just being able to knock down shots is, it takes a lot of pressure off of, guys like Semaj, who may have to create plays for himself. But that's just how we play. That's what we practice every day, fast pace, and if the ball's dropping, the ball's dropping.
What kind of boost does this give you guys to win 8 in a row and continue to stay undefeated on your home court as you head into Sunday's game against Creighton?
I believe you talking about the next game at home, or are you talking about?
I'm talking about the next game period.
Oh yeah, next game period, any game period. We want to go out there and win, but we just got to take our motivation and our confidence from our home games to the away, and go out there at Creighton and play like we play here and stay together.
I guess I'd first start out by thanking, our fan base, Xavier Nation, and Studentless here, like it seems like it's been for a long time, to show up at a 9 o'clock game and stay till the bitter end and be able to just provide the adrenaline for our team it's a big plus. And, I thought the difference in the game was the fact that what we set out to do to start the game, keep Marquette out of the paint, and to rebound with them, knowing that they, I think, had the best differential of any of the Big East teams. And we end up out-rebounding by 19. They don't score many at the free throw line. They go 10 of 13. They morphed into a team that I hadn't seen on film. So you got to give them a lot of credit. We knew Jake Thomas was a phenomenal shooter, and he proved it right time after time. But some of the other kids that stepped up and made shots that doesn't really belie their percentage. You just have to tip your hat. But I told our team I was really proud of Jalen Reynolds and James Farr for being able to pick up the slack when Matt and Isaiah got in foul trouble and weren't at their best in the first half. And if it weren't for that offensive rebound at the end of the half, we'd have gone in the locker room with an 8-point lead, playing a sophomore and a freshman against a 6-year senior and a whale of a player in Devontae Gardner. So in the second half, just being able to execute, get the ball inside, get to the foul line. Semaj was sensational. He was terrific. He was the best player on the floor. But as I told our team, we turned the page and head off to Omaha, Nebraska.
Speaking of stat that maybe defied what they had coming in was 3-point shooting. What kind of adjustments did you guys try to make in the second half? And then they're pretty hot from 3.
Well, we wanted to be able to chase Jake Thomas. We have one of the best, I think, in the country in D. Davis. But again, when a player's in a groove like that and you're there on the catch, there's nothing else that you can do. I mean, you can jump out and switch your big guy on him and put 2 guys on him, but it just exposes you in so many other ways. Slips to the basket, kid misses, offensive rebound. So you just continue to know that we don't want to give up both. I mean, we don't certainly want to give up threes. I didn't think we really gave them up. I thought they earned them. But we didn't want it to be a balance where they were hitting threes and they were really, kicking our tail in the paint. And there was a little bit of a time in the second half where Gardner started to go to work. And fortunately, we clamped down towards the end and got the stops that were needed.
When they pulled it close, Semaj hit the 2 big threes down the end. Can you just talk about how much more confident you see in him taking that 3 this year?
Well, he's a very, very tough matchup. You go 10 free throws for him tonight, which tells you that, Marquette really is trying to deny him all over the floor. They've got their best defender on him, and yet he's still able to get in the lane and draw contact and finish and make shots. And so the answer is, well, we're going to back up off of him. And, again, to have the confidence in his jump shot that he worked so tirelessly on this summer, it becomes a nightmare, honestly, to deal with when he shoots the ball at that level. But as I told Byron and Joe, I haven't seen many stat sheets where a guy shoots 10 shots and gets 28 points.
Nobody's put up as many points against Marquette as you guys have tonight. It speaks to your balance. Can you just talk about that and how well?
Yeah, I don't know how we did it. We did it with, Marquette is one of the best defensive teams in the country, let alone our league. And so, I thought we got some in transition. And then in the second half, like Joe talked about, Semaj he made some big time shots and they backed off of him. And I thought we executed down the stretch, got the ball into Matt. He drew some double teams. He made the right passes, and we got to the free throw line an awful lot. It tends to happen when you have guys that can penetrate and you can put the ball in the box with post feeds. You get to the foul line, and we finished and made our free throws tonight.
You mentioned a couple of games ago how Semaj during a UC game when he had to sit out, that really seemed to show to him the rest of these guys can, and I don't have to do everything. Was it as simple as just a light bulb going off for him?
You mean in that game? Again, I don't want to speak for Semaj, but again, when he goes out in that game, it's nip and tuck, maybe a 5-point game, and the next thing you know, he doesn't play the entire half, and we're in the locker room with a 17 or 20 point. I don't know what the halftime lead was, but you can't do that against Cincinnati unless you've got some talented players that are sharing the ball and moving it. And I just think it's common sense to say wow, these guys can play at a high level. We got experience. We have more of a post threat. In Matt. In the way James is shooting the ball from the perimeter and offensive rebound. We just have more pieces that don't have to play as many extended minutes, and I think Semaj is recognizing that.
What kind of lift do you think James Farr's big dunk had in the first half effect on you?
I just think you know, the dunk was one thing, but his play throughout the entire time that he was out there, you know, hitting a three, they got mixed up on a ball screen, rebounding the ball on the defensive end, igniting us in transition. He did a really good job. You know, he got called for a cheap one, probably legitimate, but he did a really good job of trying to be a fire plug and not give up ground before Gardner and Otule caught it, and that's not easy to do.
As productive as James has been, is it difficult do you want to try to give him more minutes and just tell because you got two upperclassmen ahead of him?
Well, you know, it's interesting because he hasn't played maybe as many minutes over the last 3 or 4 games, and again, I've been on him really hard in practice, you know, and so is Coach Pegues, his position coach, because he hasn't been doing the job defensively, you know, to the level that he was doing it earlier in the year. And again, those minutes are going to be earned, and so really proud of his response. You know, sometimes, you know, he tends to put his head down a little bit in practice, but it just wasn't going to be accepted. He's got to get the job done, and to see him sort of swallow it in practice and accept it, watch video with Coach Mike, you know, practice harder, do things smarter, do them technically right, and then to come out here on game night against a very veteran front court and do his job. I'm really proud of him. I'm happy that he took a step forward.